There comes a moment in every life when the map no longer matches the territory. You do everything right, you study, you love, you work, you try to be kind, and still, the ground gives way beneath your feet. Someone you trusted disappears. A dream you built for years collapses overnight. The silence that follows feels unbearable. Like the universe itself has gone dark. You ask the oldest question in the human heart. Why? Why this loss? Why this timing? Why me? You replay the past, searching for logic, for fairness, for the version of reality where this pain makes sense. But it doesn't, not yet, because life, as the Buddha reminded us, speaks in a language deeper than reason. Its messages are written in paradox, in the endings that lead to beginnings, in the heartbreaks that open the heart, in the detours that turn out to be the real path. Maybe what you're living isn't chaos at all. Maybe it's choreography. What if the moment you call mistake is actually a doorway to growth, to compassion, to seeing yourself as you truly are? What if every silence was a sacred pause designed to make you listen inward? What if the universe was never punishing you, only preparing you? Look closer. The loss that broke you also broke you open. The rejection that stung redirected you. The stillness you feared restored you. In the teachings of the Buddha, nothing happens without cause, and nothing arises alone. Each experience is part of a web, infinite, intricate, alive. What feels random is simply a pattern too vast for the eye to trace in this moment. Pain is not evidence of failure, it's evidence of transformation in progress. So breathe. Right here, right now. Feel the current beneath the confusion. Inhale slowly for 4, exhale for 6. Life isn't asking you to understand it. It's asking you to trust it. Because maybe your world isn't falling apart. Maybe it's falling into place. And as you listen, not with the mind, but with the quiet intelligence of the heart, you begin to sense what all seekers eventually discover. That meaning is never lost. It's merely hidden until you're still enough to see. Welcome to Dharma Veins, where ancient wisdom meets the modern storm. And every unanswered question becomes an invitation to awaken. Pillar 1. See clearly. Impermanence, anicca, and karma, cause and effect. Impermanence isn't a gloomy slogan about loss. It's a precision description of how reality updates itself. In Pali, anicca means not fixed. Everything, cells, moods, markets, relationships, is in motion at biological, psychological, and social timescales. Contemporary neuroscience even models perception as predictive processing. Your brain constantly revises its best guess about the world from moment to moment. That incessant revision is impermanence made measurable. We suffer not because things change, but because we insist they shouldn't. In Buddhist psychology, this insistence has a name, upadana. Clinging. Clinging tries to freeze a frame in a living film. Stay this happy. Don't let this end. Make this pain stop now. But a film only works because the frames move. A clean way to test where you're clinging is to separate event from relationship to event. The event is, my partner spoke harshly. The relationship is the tightening in your chest. The replay loop at 2 a.m. The narrative, this always happens to me. We can't freeze events, but we can re-educate the relationship. The Buddha called this retraining right view, samma ditthi, see the flow as flow. In practice that means noticing beginnings and endings everywhere, micro endings like the top of an inhale. Macro endings like a career chapter closing. If you can feel those tiny dissolves in real time, you're inoculating yourself against the shock of larger dissolves. Here's a surprising upside. When you accept that joy is impermanent, you enjoy it more, not less. Hedonic adaptation, our tendency to normalize pleasure, slows down when attention is vivid. Savoring a cup of coffee because it will end makes each sip brighter. Likewise, acknowledging that pain is impermanent doesn't fake away hurt. It prevents the second arrow, the mental resistance that multiplies hurt into suffering. One arrow is inevitable in human life. The second is optional and largely constructed by clinging. If impermanence is the rhythm, karma is the choreography, how patterns form inside that rhythm. In the oldest texts, karma is not fate or cosmic bookkeeping. It's conditionality. Actions, kamma, plus intention, satana, create tendencies that make certain futures more likely. Think of it as mental ecology. A single angry thought is like tossing one invasive seed into the garden. A habit of indulging anger is like planting a row of them and watering daily. Over weeks, your garden predictably changes. Karma is that predictability. No judge required. Just causes and conditions doing what causes and conditions do. 3 clarifications help. 1. Karma is present tense. Past causes matter, but the lever is now. Every time you notice and refuse to rehearse an old reaction, you weaken its synaptic vote. Neuroplasticity is simply the nervous system's way of saying yes to the Buddhist claim that intentional repetition shapes character. 2. Karma is granular. Thought right pointing arrow word right pointing arrow deed is the classic sequence. Interrupt it early and you alter the downstream movie. Catch the thought, I'm not safe. Translate it into a kinder sentence, I'm uncomfortable. And I can resource myself. And the deed, snapping at a loved one, often never happens. 3. Karma is educative, not punitive. When a pattern bears bitter fruit, the system is giving feedback. The point isn't self-blame, it's design insight. What did this outcome teach me about the seed I've been planting? A practitioner's move here is to marry anicca and karma. Notice the flow and choose the seed. When you remember everything is moving, urgency softens. When you remember seeds become harvests. Apathy dissolves. That sweet spot, soft but not slack, makes wise effort possible. A few research-informed tactics translate doctrine into behavior. Timestamp the change. When a pleasant moment appears, silently label its phases. A rising right pointing arrow peaking right pointing arrow fading. This trains your nervous system to ride transience without grasping. Do the same with discomfort to normalize its ebb. Shrink the loop. Map one recurring stress pattern as a 3-step chain. Trigger right pointing arrow interpretation right pointing arrow impulse. Insert a breath between interpretation and impulse. One breath consistently taken is stronger karmically than a dozen you promise but never use. Recode intention, satana, in plain English. Before a tricky conversation, state a one-line intention. May I speak plainly without harming? Intention calibrates attention. Attention steers action. Action lays new track. Notice how this reframes responsibility. You're not blamed for weather you didn't order. You're empowered to learn how you hold the umbrella. The universe isn't out to hurt you. It's out to teach you, through feedback loops subtle and obvious, what grows when you water it. If you water contempt, you will harvest isolation even when you win arguments. If you water patience, you will harvest steadiness even when circumstances don't obey you. The law really is that simple. We grow what we water. Mini practice, 1 minute, sit as you are. Inhale for 4 counts. Exhale for 6. Name one micro habit that keeps repeating, a word you use to belittle yourself. A reflexive eye roll. A midnight doom scroll. Hold it in awareness just long enough to feel its impermanence. Then choose one replacement seed small enough to plant today. A gentler word. A pause before send. Phone down after 10 p.m. Whisper. May my next action grow peace. That sentence is not magical thinking. It's an intentional parameter for your karmic system. Run it often and watch the garden change. Pillar 2. Let go and accept. The freedom beyond control. Every human mind, no matter how educated or spiritual, still carries a secret fantasy. If I hold on tightly enough, life will obey me. We cling to people, jobs, identities, even moods, as if permanence were proof of value. Yet reality keeps moving. Relationships evolve, bodies age, careers shift, and even the feelings that once defined us drift like clouds across an open sky. Buddhism names this friction between how things are and how we want them to be as dukkha, the unsatisfied ache of grasping. Letting go, then, isn't passive resignation, it's an act of profound intelligence. To let go means you finally understand that control is not love, it's fear disguised as protection. When you stop trying to control, you stop arguing with gravity. The tree that bends in the wind doesn't betray itself, it survives. In the same way, acceptance is not defeat, it's alignment with how existence actually works. Modern psychology has caught up to this truth. Acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, shows that resisting emotion amplifies it. while welcoming it with curiosity allows it to complete its natural cycle in the nervous system. The Buddha taught the same principle 2,500 years ago. Clinging multiplies suffering. Observation dissolves it. Attachment is born from misunderstanding the difference between love and possession. Love wants the best for the other. Possession wants the other to stay where it's comfortable for us. Love breathes. Possession suffocates. The moment we try to freeze joy, don't change, don't leave, don't fade, it begins to decay in our hands. Letting go returns oxygen to the heart. It transforms love from a cage into a current. The story of the farmer and his horse captures this perfectly. When fortune shifts, we rush to label it good, bad, success, failure. But the farmer smiles because he sees beyond the surface sequence. He understands that life's events are not final verdicts, they are chapters in motion. What seems disastrous today may reveal itself as blessing tomorrow. Neuroscience calls this cognitive reappraisal, the mind's capacity to reinterpret meaning over time. Buddhism simply calls it wisdom. Acceptance, at its core, is the courage to live without the guarantee of outcomes. It's choosing participation over prediction. You still act, still love, still care, but without the invisible contract that says, "This must last for me to be okay." When that contract dissolves, peace enters. So how do we practice letting go in real life? Not as a slogan but as skill. 1. Name the attachment. When pain arises, ask, what expectation am I defending? Is it the expectation that someone should understand you? That your plan should unfold neatly? Awareness weakens the invisible grip. 2. Feel, don't fix. Instead of analyzing every emotion, breathe into its texture. Notice heat, pressure, movement, emotion, once felt fully, metabolizes on its own. 3. Rehearse impermanence. Watch a sunset without taking a photo. Let a conversation end naturally without forcing one more word. Each micro-release trains the nervous system for the bigger ones. 4. Bless the unknown. When something leaves, a person, a season, a version of yourself, whisper a simple phrase. May this too serve awakening. It converts loss into offering. The paradox is beautiful. When you stop trying to hold on, what's meant for you finally has space to stay. The friendships that endure, the work that fulfills, the peace that feels effortless, they all grow best in unclenched hands. Take a breath right now. Ask yourself gently, what am I holding too tightly? Maybe it's an image of who you used to be. Maybe it's a future that hasn't arrived. Inhale, feel its weight. Exhale, let it flow away. What remains is not emptiness, it's awareness itself, the witness untouched by gain or loss. That awareness is who you've been looking for all along. And in its quiet center, you discover what the Buddha called true freedom, not having everything, but needing nothing to be at peace. Pillar 3. Be here now, the practice of presence. If impermanence teaches us that everything changes, and letting go teaches us not to fight that change, then mindfulness teaches us where to live while it's all happening. The mind, by nature, is nomadic. It roams through memory and fantasy, replaying old hurts, rehearsing possible futures. It's a magnificent storyteller but a terrible resident. The present moment is the only home it ever has, yet it rarely stays long enough to unpack its bags. In the Buddha's language, mindfulness, sati, means to remember. Not remembering the past, but remembering to be awake. It's the gentle tug that brings you back from the trance of distraction to the vividness of now. Modern neuroscience validates this ancient insight. Scans show that when attention returns to sensory immediacy, breath, texture, sound, the brain's default mode network quiets, anxiety drops, and creativity rises. In other words, presence literally rewires the noise of worry into clarity. But mindfulness is not a trick to become calm, it's a relationship with reality. It asks, can you be intimate with this moment without editing it? When you drink tea, do you actually taste it? Or are you already halfway through your to-do list? When you walk, do your feet meet the earth or just your next destination? When someone speaks, are you listening or waiting to reply? Presence transforms ordinary acts into sacred ceremonies. We often think enlightenment is a mountaintop event, a distant place reached after decades of effort. In truth, it's a micro shift, from being lost in thought to being aware of thought. That shift can happen 100 times a day. Each return is a small awakening. A recalibration of karma from autopilot to intention. Every time you notice, I was gone, and come back, you plant a seed of wisdom right in the soil of the mundane. Here's the paradox. The present is so simple that the mind resists it. There's nothing to analyze, fix, or achieve here, just this inhale, this exhale. The ego, which feeds on comparison and control, finds that unsettling. It whispers, surely peace must be more complicated. Yet the masters keep saying the same thing. Stop. Breathe. Feel. That's not a slogan, it's physics. Life only unfolds one breath thick. Everything else is imagination. Practicing presence doesn't mean abandoning thought. It means seeing thought as weather. Clouds move across the sky of awareness. You don't have to chase or fight them. When emotion surges, anger, joy, grief, notice its edges, its temperature, how it rises and falls. The act of witnessing already changes its chemistry. What's observed loses power to possess. Start small. Stop. Catch the moment your attention drifts. Breathe. Anchor in the rhythm that's been keeping you alive since birth. Name. Silently label what's here, thinking, hearing, feeling warmth. Naming transforms chaos into clarity. Choose. Decide your next act from awareness, not autopilot. 10 seconds is enough. Feel air entering, air leaving. That's life, happening right now. Without your permission and beyond your control. Yet intimately yours. Every return to the present shifts karma's trajectory, from reaction to response. From confusion to understanding. The mind will wander again. That's its nature. Enlightenment isn't about stopping the wandering. It's what dawns each time you notice you've wandered and gently come home. So when the mind starts sprinting toward the next moment, pause. Let awareness catch up to breath. In that meeting, the world softens, time loosens, and you glimpse the truth behind every Buddhist teaching. You were never missing from your life, only distracted. Maybe everything does happen for a reason. Not the kind we can explain in a sentence, but the kind that reveals itself slowly. In hindsight, in healing, in silence. Maybe the pain that broke you wasn't punishment. Maybe it was life's quiet way of breaking you open. The Buddha never promised a life without storms. He taught us how to stand still in the middle of one. How to breathe through the thunder. And remember that the rain, too, is part of awakening. So tonight, before you drift into sleep, place your hand over your heart. Feel that steady rhythm. Proof that something inside you never gave up. Whisper softly, "Thank you for the lessons I didn't understand." May every loss reveal a hidden gift. May every wound guide you back to wisdom. And may all beings, across all lands, remember that even when the path is dark, the light was never gone. Tonight, we send a silent prayer. To every soul suffering under war. To every mother clutching her child amid the shaking earth. To every being facing hunger, grief, or fear. May compassion rise like dawn in every corner of this world. May peace return to hearts that have forgotten their own gentleness. And may the blessings of the Buddha flow through every tear, reminding us that we were never truly separate from the light we seek. If this message brought you calm, clarity, or even one moment of stillness, join our circle of reflection. Subscribe to Dharma Veins. So the next teaching, the mind trick that heals your body while you sleep, can meet you where you are and guide you deeper into the art of awareness. Until then, breathe gently. Trust the unfolding. And remember, nothing is random. Feather open reflection for you. Have you ever lived through a moment that felt meaningless at first, but later revealed its hidden purpose? Share your story in the comments. Your reflection may be the light someone else needs tonight.